All right. You're looking live at Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks, and I'm the host, DJ I Tell You What, and I'm joined by my co-host, my dad, Cowboy Joe 64, aka Capricorn One, and we're back with another one this evening. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about a little bit of everything. The coaching carousel is going on right now, and so it's been a lot of, but the coaches are dropping like flies. So we're gonna get into that and kind of get into what we think the outcome is going to be for the Cowboys. And so I'm gonna let this roll, and then when we come back, we'll be talking about that. Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right. So you want to say what's up to the people and kind of give them a rundown on what we're gonna be discussing today?
So what's up to the people? Glad to see you guys back. So we're going to talk about the latest with the coaching situation in the NFL. Talk a little bit about the Cowboys Commanders game since we didn't get to talk about that just a little bit. So
Yeah.
let's get it.
So what was your thoughts? What was your thoughts about the Cowboys Commanders game?
Well, I definitely like the higher draft pick. So, but I like the way we were competitive with from start to finish. Kind of lets me know the Washington is not as good. I still think if Dak had stayed healthy, we would have been the 5th seed. I think pretty easily. So,
Yeah.
so what did you think about the game and Trey Lance?
I think he traded. I think he showed why he should have been playing this whole time instead of Cooper Rush if they was trying to win. Um, I think that he did okay, but you can still see why. Kind of what I was saying about Trey Lance as far as like him just not being that good, and this is why he didn't. This is why he didn't make it in San Francisco. And people don't understand. People forget that Trey Lance, he only played 1 year of college, and then he did the COVID thing, and then after that, he came straight to the league. So you know, it's just some things that he don't do good. Like he has good instincts. Like he be in the pocket and he do good in the pocket. But when it come to doing something so simple, like just throwing a layup pass, just a floating pass to the end zone, he can't do it. It's like he doesn't know how to throw. He can't gauge where to throw, how to throw. It's just like you can see that his ball placement is horrible. If
He
he
don't
can
have no
fix his,
touch.
he don't have no touch whatsoever. Now, if he had that, he'd be awesome. Like, 'cause, he missing wide open receivers in the end zone. The ball is either too short or it's too long. That pass to Rico Dowdle, it was just too short. But it was a simple pass. I mean, it was like it wasn't no one in either one of their faces. So and even on that play, him escaping the pocket was like majestic. So that's what he does good, and he can use his legs real good. But the Trey Lance thing, it didn't work. We wasted a 4th round pick. That could have been Bucky Irvin. So that's just, it just is what it is on that. Trey Lance probably won't come back. I think he despite what the Cowboys hiding him on the roster, I think he still outpriced himself. I think that
So you
some
would
team
want
is
him
gonna
as the
offer him.
backup next year?
I would, yeah, I would, but I don't know if another team might want him as a backup, and they might be willing to pay him a little more than what we're gonna be willing to pay him.
Well,
So
they had a little bit of a breaking news that the Cowboys actually met with him and his agent, and they offered him a deal, and he turned it down. But they didn't say, what the deal was. They could have met with him and offered him peanuts. So who knows?
that's what they did probably, and that's what. Remember on my couple shows ago, I said that my theory was the reason why they wasn't playing him was so they could hide him, so they could lowball him when it's time, and that seems to me that's what they did.
So so Bland played good. Um, Anybody else that stood out? How did Leofow and Who was the other corner? How did he play?
He played good, and his name escapes me right now, but
They
I'll
seem
have
to
to look
keep
it up.
finding these backup corners that can play.
I'm telling you, I'm thinking it has to do a lot with Al Harris. That's the only thing I can think of because the whole year, all of our cornerbacks have been good except the one that I think that was not good to me. This is just my opinion. Was Kalen Carson.
Yeah, so Kalen Carson, if we look ahead to this training camp, and look, let's just be clear, it's gonna be the underwear Olympics, but I will say that AO, Butler, and the guy that played Sunday, to me, they all look better than Kalen Carson. Kalen Carson played good against Cleveland. So he's got talent. So look, it's gonna be just fun to watch. But I think AO to me was way better. He just balled. And Butler, he was coming on. Now Butler, the thing about Butler, we got to remember, he
He
got
got hurt.
injured so late. We probably not going to see him probably to the middle of the season. So that's the thing. But AO is a keeper, and so yeah, that the cornerback position is going to be heavy. And then we're going to talk about the draft too. But there are some thought that they could take a corner in the draft. So we'll just see how it all plays out. So we're picking 12th. So at 12 right now, Rudders Tankathon have us. Who do they have us picking? Genty.
Yeah.
And so shout out to Broados and Vach. I was listening to their show last night, and they did a couple of trade down scenarios. They did a trade down where we picked up an extra 2 and a 4, and that was trading away from Genty. Now I didn't make out what we traded down to, but if you trade down from Genty, I still think you got to target Ibuka with that. If you drop down from 12 to like 16 or 17, which I wouldn't go down any further than that, you're just hoping that Ibuka is there. There's a lot of talk about the edge from Penn State. Is it Abdul Carter?
Yeah, he's the best.
I don't understand the conversation about him with Dallas because he's not going to be there when we pick. He's just not.
Yeah, but
Now your
because
defensive tackle from Michigan that you like, what's his name?
Kenneth Grant.
Well, he's going to be there at 12 or 17.
Yep.
And there's a lot of talk about Cowboy fans not wanting to take another Michigan player. I don't think that's true. I think that Michigan has had some good players. We're not going to let Taco and Mozzie shoo us away from a good player because the edge that plays for Detroit, is it Hutchinson?
Aiden Hutchinson, he went to Michigan.
He went to Michigan, and if he was in the draft, I would take him, no question about it, because he jumped right off the screen, and he came in, and he matched his jump off the screen play. Mozzie never jumped off the screen, and Schoon didn't either. Taco didn't either. But so yeah, I would take another Michigan player.
Yeah, me too. Well, without a doubt. Let's do a mock draft real quick. We can do one. Let's do one. Let me see if I can show this right here.
So while you setting that up, I'm gonna start the coaching thing.
Go
So
ahead.
we're still kind of in limbo. McCarthy and Jones apparently met yesterday, but nothing came out of that meeting. And we know that the Bears have asked to speak to McCarthy. The Cowboys, which is kind of weird, they haven't even addressed the whole thing on if they're going to let McCarthy even talk to the Bears. So my understanding is something is going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow might be the first decision day on McCarthy. So we can come back to that. So what you doing right here?
This is just we're gonna just enter the draft and we're gonna just see what happens. So they have, let's see, they got well, we can wait till our turn. Yeah, this is Pro Football Network mock draft. This is my favorite. So what this is the Chargers are offering us pick 25, pick 57, pick 89, and a 2026 second for pick number 12 and 76.
I don't want to go to 25.
Okay, so we reject it. Okay, so now our board is up here now. Now this is right here. Mason Graham is there. That's the one that's rated higher. The Michigan player that's rated higher.
So based on this, you would take Mason Graham instead of Luther Burden.
Yep.
Okay.
See, Ashton Genty went.
Where did Genty go?
Genty went to the Carolina Panthers.
Who did Ted go to?
Ted went to the Patriots.
So let's talk about that for a second before you kind of get off of that.
Okay.
We still are not clear on what Deion is going to do. I just don't think Deion is going to be okay with Travis Hunter going to Cleveland. That's Travis Hunter. I'm thinking.
Well,
Shedeur.
this right here. This one right here is Shedeur. They got Shedeur going to the Titans.
So your first and second picks on there. I don't know if Deion is going to try to get involved with Travis Hunter, but Shedeur going to the Titans is going to be kind of tricky. So we still are not clear on where Deion is with this. If he's going to try to do what Archie Manning did with Eli. Of course, we know John Elway was the first NFL player to say that he wasn't going to a team. So Deion knows that history. We just don't know what he's going to do. So I'm just I kind of suspect he's not going to be excited about Shedeur going to Tennessee. Now Tennessee, I mean, they got some good players. They're getting ready to build an indoor stadium. So,
Well, my thing is this. You got New York right here. And New York, they kept Dayball.
Now, what we hear, they like Cam Ward.
They do. So they also like Shedeur too. So if Deion might do anything, I'm thinking that it might be a call to New York to tell New York to go ahead and trade up and get him. And I think that they might do that, being that the owner has been meeting with Deion, and I think that that's a possibility. Deion might tell them, "I'll go ahead and trade up, and go ahead and grab him." And I think that's how that'll rock. And I think that the Tennessee Titans, they would be okay with selecting Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I think that's realistic. So I think we right on that. So on this draft, you would take Mason Graham. Now, is Mason Graham the big heavy guy with Michigan, or is he the other guy?
He's the other guy.
So he's just the
This is Mason Graham. Mason Graham is this guy. Oh, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it. It's kind of small.
You can see Mason Graham playing. You can see the college football highlight.
No, I see like an advertisement. There's two things on the right. One of them is an advertisement.
Okay. I don't know why I did, but let me see. This is Mason Graham. This is Mason Graham. Now you can see it now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Mason Graham right here. Now he would be number 55. He's that motor guy. He's the guy that got the motor. He just don't stop. And he's ranked. He's the number one ranked defensive tackle in the draft for a reason. Oh my God! You see how he just threw that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he one of them ones for sure. You got him coming off. You got him playing. This is what they have wanted, that they have needed. This is what they was trying to do with Mozzie. And if you pair him with Mozzie, because Mozzie has been getting better and better and better. So if you pair him with Mozzie, you might be able to stop the run for the first time in probably 4
and why they got
years.
him sliding to 12, which I think is kind of odd.
They don't have him sliding to 12. Oh well, yeah, they do have him sliding to 12 on this draft board. You right.
On your mock.
Yeah, I don't know.
So on Tankathon right now, he's going 5th. So in your thing you just did, they got him going 12th.
Yeah. That's just the way of the draft. You see Do you see Tankathon right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just
Tankathon he's going 5th to the Jaguars. Yeah. So but anyway,
that's just how it works. You know how these drafts work. We got CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I understand.
So
So
I'm gonna
okay,
take him. I'm gonna take him, and then we're gonna go to the second round here. And let's see. Now let's see.
I'm looking for a running back or a receiver.
Omarion Hampton is still there right now. If he's there, we're gonna take him. Oh man, I didn't messed up. I didn't even I didn't even do I just did one round. Okay, let's try it again. I'm gonna move it on fast this time. Now we probably not gonna get Mason Graham again,
So
but let's
let's just
enter
see
it.
who we get.
All right, and I'm gonna do fast so we can get right to it. They want to move. They want us to move down to 22 and pick up 53.
Nope.
We reject. Okay. Okay.
And let me say this: the Cowboys would do some of this stuff here, and they're gonna, in my opinion, they're gonna screw it up because they're gonna trade down to 20 something. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
leave some really good players on the board, and they're gonna do something goofy with the picks they pick up. So let me just get that on the record.
I
So
would
now
be
right here,
interested in this right here.
they you going from 12 to 17,
And you pick up 49.
and 49 is we're in the second round of 49 picks. So that's not too bad. Okay, we can take that one. That's all right. Let's
Now,
see.
no, I'm not doing none of that. Now, what you have to think about is you have to also be careful because Ted was still on the board. Ted is on the board now.
Oh,
So
if
I'm gonna
Ted is
pick.
there, I'm not doing that. No.
Well, we did it, and he's still here. So I'm taking him. Okay,
Yeah,
I took Ted.
that'll be amazing.
Exactly. We got CD, so it can happen. I'm gonna reject all of these from now on now. And now Kenneth Grant is still here. I'm taking him. No, Kenneth Grant. Now
It's the
this
other
is Kenneth.
defense. Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
heavy guy. You ain't got to show
man.
film of him.
Okay, because he's a
Now let me.
baller.
Who else is there beside him?
Kenneth Grant, Caleb Johnson, the Iowa running back. He's
Marion Hampton there from North Carolina.
well, we can go up and hit offense and hit running back. No, Omarion Hampton is not here. The running backs are Caleb Johnson. Omarion Hampton went to. Let's see,
So you
where did he
got you
go?
got Ted, right?
I got Ted.
Okay, so
Omarion
yeah,
Hampton went to the Vikings.
you can take the defensive tackle.
All right.
Now we got
Kenneth
it.
Grant.
This third round, we got to get a running back. But we'll
Yeah.
just see who's there.
Yeah. All right. No, remember we picked up a 40. We picked up 49. So we're gonna have to get Caleb Johnson.
Who? He's a running back.
Yeah, he's an Iowa running back.
Who's
I
on
don't
the
even know.
board?
Okay, so you got these are you wanted to see who's on the board for running backs.
Oh, just on the board. They recommending you pick.
Tyleek Williams is a D tackle. We just got a D tackle. Caleb Johnson is next. He's a running back. Got an offensive tackle here. Quinn Ewers here. Barrett Carter is here. He's a linebacker from Clemson.
Let's
And it
take the
tells
running back.
okay. Okay, so we take the running back. So we're gonna draft Caleb Johnson. And we're gonna look up Caleb Johnson in a minute because I
What's
don't
our
even know.
next pick?
Our next pick is 76.
So
And we need a linebacker.
so we got a receiver, running back, defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Who's on the board?
The linebacker on the board. Now, what was your linebacker that you liked?
The two linebackers from Alabama. They're not going to be probably down this far. Jihad something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not here.
Who you got right there?
Tyleek Williams, and Danny Sutton, an Ed from Penn State, and Danny Stutzman, a linebacker from Oklahoma. I wonder is that. Yeah, we don't know none of them. I wonder is that receiver from TCU still here? What's his name again?
Savion Williams.
There he is, right there.
He's still on the board.
Yep.
They won't take him, but I am.
Yeah, me too.
See, I'm trying to build a Death Star. That's not what McClay and Stephen Jones do. They do goofy stuff.
That's right.
They'll on each one of these picks that we're looking at, everybody that's doing draft analysis, all of the OGs like Will Steele, Vach. When the Cowboys get on the board with this trade down, they're gonna be picking people that they're gonna be like, "Who is this?" That's kind
No,
of that's what they do.
every
Those are your
time.
four picks.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you came out of this draft with that kind of haul, you would be like,
Amazing.
yeah,
If you come out this draft with Tech, Kenneth Grant, Caleb Johnson, a running back, and Savion Williams,
yeah,
because you gotta understand too that Savion Williams, you know, see, like you said, like me and you, Savion Williams on my team, he'd be a backup running back too. He'd be a running back
I
too.
watched some film of him. I actually watched him last night because I was talking to Star, was chatting with Star. Shout out to Star. She said she was going to check him out. So I was just watching some film of him. He can do some of the stuff out of the backfield that CD does and Turpin
Yeah.
does. Now,
Mhm.
with all of these guys, you got to be careful. It's the NFL. You get knocked out in this league. He's a tall, lanky guy,
Yeah.
uh, just like Ted. You get blew up in this league because when
Yeah.
CD first came in the league, he was really wiry and
Hmm.
he was getting clocked. So
A
these
lot.
guys, you come in the league. These guys are, especially tall guys. I don't like tall running backs because for that same reason. So yeah, you could do some of those things, but you have to
Now,
be careful with them.
Was it this guy that you think reminded? I think you said that he reminded you of DeMarco Murray, if I'm not mistaken. This is the running back from Iowa that we drafted right here.
I'm trying to remember.
He's a big running back, He's a big guy.
And really, just to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of DeMarco Murray when he came out. I watched him at OU, and I didn't like about him. He ran kind of high, but when
Hmm.
he came into the league, he was effective. He was a baller. Look, he jumped right out the screen. So this guy right here, I can see that he got something. Uh, he kind of remind me. Maybe it's just because of the same colors. He reminds me of the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh running back a little bit, and I've never been a
Hmm.
fan of his.
Me neither.
What's
He
Pittsburgh
jumped.
running back?
Yeah, I know you talking about. He went to the Jets.
No, the
Le'Veon
one
Bell.
no, the one they have now. He went to Alabama.
Oh, Najee.
I don't like Najee. I've never have.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say he reminded you of Le'Veon
No, not
Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. No, he remind me of Najee.
Najee,
So
yeah, I don't like Najee. Najee be, I'm surprised he's
he,
still on
yeah,
Pittsburgh.
he's not fast and he runs kind of. So, but yeah, I would be look if you put him in there with Rico. That he does kind of remind me of Murray a little bit, but that wasn't him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
we're
sure.
gonna talk about how this draft kind of plays out. That's gonna be some great content. So let's talk about this coaching thing.
Yeah.
So on Brian Brothers and Vaj last night, shout out to them.
Hmm.
They're going with this Kellen Moore theory. Well, let me say Brian Brothers is. He's convinced that if the McCarthy thing doesn't work out, he believes already their fallback thing is looking like Kellen. And on McCarthy, what we heard today on 105.3, shout out to them. They said that they did a poll of 8,000 Bears fans, and
Hmm.
80% of the Bears fans said they didn't want McCarthy. The front
Hmm.
offices, they do look at that. And you know why I know?
What's that?
When Jason Garrett, the year the Cowboys went 13-3, that 017,
Hmm.
Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So the Rams was going to hire Jason Garrett as their head coach. And what happened was they did like a poll like that, and just thousands of Rams fans
I remember that.
made it clear they didn't want Garrett. So they were like, no, we can't hire you. So that kind of thing does happen. And where I'm going with that, I would love to see the poll of 8,000 Cowboy fans if we find out the Cowboys are looking at hiring Kellen Moore as a head coach. What do you think it would be?
It's gonna be more than 8,000. They're gonna say no.
Would you think it'd be 80-20 or like 60-40?
Oh man. I think it'd be
60-40
64.
or
Yeah.
80-20? No,
I think it'd be 60-40. No.
I think it'd be like 80-20 or
because
85-15.
because what you have to, you got the fans out there that are looking at the stats. You got the fans out there that's looking at how the offense was number one every time Kellen was here. They was number one in points scored per game and all of that. They was number one all the time. They were number one the last year he was here. They was number. They was like I think they was number one last year too.
It's
But
fool's
they was
goal.
yeah. It is. It is. It's fool's goal because But you got to look at what the Eagles is doing right now too,
Well, they
and
got Saquon.
right, and so we looking at having Genty. So you gotta survey the real estate. I mean, I don't know. Me personally, like I said, I'm so done with McCarthy that I'm just willing to just throw in the towel for anybody else.
Yeah.
And I would be upset if it's Kellen, but I wouldn't just be like, I wouldn't be ready to burn my jerseys like I would be if it was McCarthy and Schottenheimer again.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the reason that I'm not on the Kellen train is because I'm really big on the organization, the face of the organization. I'm big on the guy that commands the room. I think that Kellen is Jason Garrett 2.0. We've done. We just think about this, folks. Jason Garrett was a head coach of the Cowboys for 10 years. Just think about that. 10 years. Now, Jason Garrett, there was some talk about him getting hired by Baltimore at one time. He would have lasted 3 years in Baltimore. He would have lasted 3 years with the Rams. So we've been there, done that. Jason Garrett, there was like a goofy element to him as well. He never commanded the room. Just talk to Patrick Creighton and some other guys that played here. He didn't really have a system that won. You really couldn't even tell you. He couldn't tell you what his system was. The right kind of guys, whatever they call it. So I think Kellen, and so people listening to our show, they're gonna learn that I'm really not big on stats. I'm big on results. And when he was coordinating our offense, we played the 49ers in the playoffs, our arch rival. The first time, anybody else coordinating that offense would have won that game. It was a very winnable game. You remember, he had some goofy reverses in that game. This was CD Lamb's rookie year. Going into the third quarter, CD didn't have no catches. And it was just a typical Kellen Moore goofball game plan. It made no sense. And then the following year, we went to play the 49ers. Another, I think, kind of goofy game plan. Now, Pollard did get hurt.
Nah, well, what about the game? What about the season? Was it the season before? Was it the CD rookie year where they benched Pollard for
that was the other thing.
practice?
I'm glad you brought that up. So, but the first time we played the 49ers, this was the boombox game when Debo came out with the boombox. So the week before that, Tony Pollard was a little banged up, so they held Tony Pollard out just to get him ready for the playoff game. So when the playoff game came around, he had been on the shelf for a couple of weeks. Well, when the game starts, all of a sudden, we don't see Tony Pollard.
Well, they say he had missed practice.
I mean, come on. But so goofy game plan, and in the following year, he had another goofy game plan. Dak comes in, throws a couple of quick interceptions. Kellen Moore was notorious for the hitch and comeback routes. Folks, you got to know, if we hire him, you're going to see these same comeback routes that everybody hated. You're going to just see goofy game plans. And what's bailing him out right now is Saquon. So, but look, I think Broadus is on to something. So I'm at this point, if I had to just say it right now, I'm hoping that we work it out with McCarthy, because I'm just not going to be a big fan of Kellen coming up in here. I just don't think he can be the face of your franchise.
What might happen is, you see, now I think what McCarthy's doing too is the Birds are not going to hire McCarthy. They're going to hire probably somebody else, maybe Vrabel.
So on the show last night, McCarthy said he think he's leaning Ben Johnson.
Who said that?
Broadus.
He said that Ben Johnson's going to Chicago.
That's where he's leaning. Yeah.
Okay, well, I said all that to say I think that McCarthy is just going to come back to the Johnsons and say, hey, well, the Chicago is offering me $8 million. So is that what you want to pay or not? And He can use that as a bargaining tool. And I also think it's a possibility that tomorrow we wake up and then the
The deal
Joneses and
deal is done.
McCarthy and the Joneses deal is done.
It's
And then
possible, and I think the Bears thing is probably not going to happen because what the Bears are doing, it appears they're going to interview several coaches.
yeah.
So McCarthy's probably not going to be able to just hang out there long enough to interview with them and see if he get the job. Now, if we find out tomorrow that Jones and McCarthy are just breaking up, then yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
McCarthy is going to be looked at. You got to pull up all of the jobs that are open now because is it like up? Well, are we up to 7 and 8?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
So,
NFL coaching.
and then McCarthy, we won't actually know if any of these teams really want McCarthy until it actually happens. A lot of times, what I've been telling people on Twitter is that a lot of the stuff that we're hearing is coming from the agents. The agents are putting this stuff out about the candidate. So sometimes these teams are really not, looking to hire the person, but the agent is putting all of that stuff out there. So, McCarthy has a really good agent, Don Yee.
Mm-hmm.
So Don Yee is he's a gangster. So he's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna put up with no Jerry Jones nonsense. He's gonna go in there and drive a hard bargain. And so there's a possibility that Don Yee would just tell Jerry, we're not going with what you got here, coach. So, it is what it is. We'll just keep it moving.
Yeah. Las Vegas got Antonio Pierce got the axe today. Let's see. Tennessee Titans general
So
manager.
Rand Carthon, he was the son of Maurice Carthon. So Maurice Carthon was a New York Giant. So
Mhm.
Maurice Carthon played for the Giants, and he was a Parcells coach too. So that was his son. They hired him, and they didn't even give him a chance to really put his program in. So that was unfortunate. So, but he was a GM.
Defense coordinator Gus
Speaking
Bradley.
speaking of, just go back to him. Okay,
Mhm.
Gus Bradley, go back up, go back down. So Gus Bradley was the coach. Well, no, what's the head coach of the Colts? But anyway, Gus Bradley was the defensive coordinator. The Seattle won their championships, when they played in the Super Bowl, he was a defensive coordinator. I'm not even really sure how Gus Bradley left Seattle, so that was weird right there. But the Colts, they didn't fire their head coach though.
Mm-mm.
So these are like some of the offensive coordinators that got like Ryan Grubb, Seattle.
Mhm.
So I want you to put up the list of all of the head coaching jobs that are open. I guess they got it on here. So of course,
Yeah.
New England fired Gerard Mayo, um,
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Doug Peterson. If I had to compare McCarthy to somebody, Doug Peterson and McCarthy, uh, McCarthy won his Super Bowl with the Packers. Doug
Mhm.
Peterson won with Philadelphia and got fired a couple of years later, which is really crazy. But Doug Peterson, when he went to Jacksonville, he didn't reinvent himself. He didn't take his offense to the next level, which is what we see McCarthy's doing. See
Yeah.
these coaches, Doug Peterson, Mike McCarthy, they really should be Andy Reid 2.0.
But they're
When you
not.
leave one place and you go to the next place, you
Mhm.
should be doing something, better than what you did before.
Well, the only thing about that too that's different from them is I know McCarthy, Andy Reid didn't win a Super Bowl with the Eagles or anywhere else though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he wasn't like, it wasn't like it was like he only had to go up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But he did
But
reinvent himself. He did
he did. He did.
update his offense, and he, gave it more bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
say even Sean Payton, if I had to right now, Sean Payton, same resume. He won a
It's
Super
just
Bowl with the
amazing
Saints.
how he's came in and did that with the Broncos. I don't
So
see.
so I said it all that to say this. The Cowboys was on the right track trying to hire Sean Payton. See, Jerry Jones keeps doing this. Jerry
Mhm.
Jones has had multiple opportunities to hire the right coach, but he always screws it up. They
Mhm.
wanted Sean Payton a couple of times. So right now, I would take Sean Payton over Mike McCarthy. but I just would.
and homeboy Harbaugh.
And Harbaugh, yeah. So he's had a chance to hire Harbaugh. He could have hired Harbaugh this at last offseason. So that's the problem with the Cowboys. They just simply won't make the move that will put this franchise over the top. They will put this franchise on a competitive level with the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the 49ers. Jerry Jones continues to make these hiring uh, decisions that are just not bad. There's a science to this, folks, and he just doesn't get the science. He's had time and time again where he can make the right coaching hire, and they just can't get it. So,
And then
yeah,
another thing that he does is also that it fits in that same vein. He just won't hire the right coach that'll put us over the top. And then even with the coaches that he hires, he doesn't help the coaches out to put them over the top by drafting right and by signing free agency and by
yep.
utilizing the cap right. He doesn't do any of that right either.
So you and your uncle Eric and all of the people out there that are saying that a good coach that'll put him over the top won't come here. So far, you guys are winning that argument because you don't get Harbaugh, you don't get Sean Payton. You're probably not gonna have a chance to get Ben Johnson, but you're gonna probably settle on Kellen Moore. That is a very, very Jerry thing to do. You got all of these dynamic coaches out there that are making a difference.
And I
You got
want
a
it to be
chance to
clear.
do it, but what do you do every
Mm-mm.
time?
I don't want to be clear too. Mike McCarthy is settling too because Mike McCarthy's job was to come here and get us over the playoff hump, and he did not do that. And in
No.
the last year they left him out there to dry by not utilizing free agency and not bringing back the free agents that we had, and they left him out there to dry. So he did not get the job done, even though we got 12-5, 12-5. He didn't get the job done. So there
Mhm.
are coaches out there that are better than Mike McCarthy, and we know
Yeah,
this.
and better than Kellen. And I forgot to mention another reason why they really will probably settle with Kellen is because Kellen is going to be okay with making $4.5 million a year. He will
Yeah.
be one of the lowest paid coaches in the NFL, which is what that's going to be perfect for Jerry. Number two, Kellen is not going to say anything about them not participating in free agency. He's not going to
Mhm.
say anything about that. Kellen is not going to look at how the organization can get better, what we need to do. Kellen will just be there, just standing on the sideline, calling plays. And so there you go.
And they got Ron Rivera on the Jets. I can't believe that.
They
That's
interviewing
scary.
him,
Yeah, that's scary to me.
Ron Rivera. I don't
Yeah,
see that. Oh,
right there. That's scary because I don't even want him in. I don't even want him sniffing around head coach interviews. But
yeah. Well, he's kind of the fallback for a lot of interviews.
I want to point this out to people once again. You see all of these coaching staff changes and how they interviewing all these people. You know, Mike McCarthy's on this list. We don't see any other Cowboys on these lists. And then also, when we get to the Cowboys, if they even on here, which they probably not, we're not gonna see them interviewing. No, they don't have no interview request.
So
All of these other
to your
teams.
point, nobody's asking to interview Brian Schottenheimer.
Mm-mm.
No one's asking to interview. Now, Paul Gunther will probably be someone that they'll probably try to keep as the defensive coordinator if it comes down to Kellen or somebody like that. He's not on any of these lists. Now,
Will
our
McClay not
guy,
even.
well, so Will McClay is not on there. And then our cornerback, our defensive back coach, Al Harris is not on here either, which is kind of odd. So, but if you look at this list, folks, you see the kind of details and you kind of see what's going on with all of these teams. There's a science to hiring. Okay. These organizations are using the right hiring practices. Cowboys, they're not doing none of this. They're not even sure if they're going to talk to McCarthy about staying. And it would not shock me at all if they decide to move on from McCarthy and they go straight to Kellen. They don't interview 5 other coaches. They go straight to Kellen, and then they're gonna bring Kellen in, and they're gonna tell Kellen who they want to have as a defensive coordinator. They gonna what they do is they're gonna say they recommend to Kellen, but really what they're doing is they're telling Kellen these are your coaches, and then when Kellen gets a job, they're gonna be in a press conference and they're gonna say that Kellen picked everybody.
Of course.
Kellen was very high on this coach, and
Hmm.
that's what they did to McCarthy. They said, "Oh, McCarthy was thinking about hiring Kellen before he got here."
He was lying.
Yeah, so
Mike McCarthy did not want Kellen in here. He couldn't wait to get him out of here. He let him out there to hang himself, and that's what he did. And also, gotta look at this. This is a possibility too. Now, all of this can change tomorrow morning. We might get breaking news. They worked out a deal tonight, and then but because Jerry, it would work in Jerry's favor. It'll be a typical cowboy thing. Go ahead and do this now. That way, he don't even go to Chicago and get a higher offer. And then also you don't have to do no coaching search if you just go ahead and get Mike McCarthy signed up. And then also on top of that, ain't gonna be no offensive coordinator searches, guys. When y'all look on we know we need an offensive coordinator. Cowboys are not going to search for no offensive coordinator. Whoever's going to be calling our plays is probably already in the building. I can tell you that now. It's probably not going to change. It's probably going to be the same. That's what I would think. That's
and
what my
Brian
guess
and
is.
just FYI, there's some talk about Brian Schottenheimer becoming the play caller. When Brian Schottenheimer was at Seattle, they gave him play calling duties. It was not good. Pete Carroll ended up going with someone else. So Brian Schottenheimer does not have a reputation around the league as being a good play caller. Now, what he will do, he will run the football. He's kind of an old school, let's run the ball type
Yeah,
coach. But
he
see,
will.
but if Brian Schottenheimer is calling the play, CD's not gonna be happy with it.
No,
Uh,
neither would that. Well, we know if Schottenheimer's calling the plays, when we know what's going to happen, we know Dak is going to take over the calling the plays.
yeah.
So
So I
and
know,
so they just don't have a good. He does not have a good scheme. He's not a difference maker. And if he
no,
was a difference maker, he would already be making a difference, and he has not been since he's been here. So
yeah.
we're
And
trying to
Brian
figure.
and Broaddus also said that would not be a good idea of making Schottenheimer the play caller. And I agree with that. And nobody's wanting to interview Brian Schottenheimer, so that's all you need to know.
No, nobody want to interview him. And then also this might be a possibility too. What might be a possibility is McCarthy does not come back, and he doesn't want to come back. And also Kellen Moore gets hired by the Eagles when they lose to Green Bay at home.
That would be the
And
best scenario for us.
right.
Or Kellen Moore gets the Saints job, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
our guy Aaron Glenn, I really think he's gonna get that New Orleans job. He's perfect for them. Is it Aaron Glenn, the
Yeah, I
coordinator
mean,
for the Lions?
yeah, I'm just trying to think why you think he's not from New Orleans or anything. So why you think he's perfect for them?
I just think that he just
They just got rid
fits.
of an offensive head coach, so
Yeah,
they need a new
so
offense.
I just think he's a good fit for them. I just think the kind of physicality that he brings. He's he's organized. He's sharp. He just has all of the tools. He's a Parcells, guy. He learned from one of the
Oh,
OG coaches.
you
Yeah.
know what I want to ask you? I got two things I want to say. Number one, I think Rex is gonna go to the Jets, and I like that for him. I like them. I like him and his brother. Actually, and I like him and his brother. I just do. And I think that's gonna be a good thing. I think they're gonna be able to get a good quarterback too in the draft, or trade a first round pick for one of their players and get a quarterback. I think it's gonna be cool. Like for Garrett Wilson, I'll trade my first round pick for Garrett Wilson, and then with the 12th round pick, with the 12th pick in the draft, they can get a good quarterback. They can get Quinn Ewers or somebody like that.
Mm.
Even because I think he's declaring for the draft. But anyways, they will be able to get somebody with the 12th pick in the draft if we
Yeah.
traded our first round for good. And then also, Tyreek Hill said he wants out. We can pay him and redo his contract, and we can draft Genty and and then sign Tyreek Hill, and our offense would just be the best offense in the league. We draft Genty, and then we sign Tyreek Hill, figure out a way to do it, and then but this is what I want to ask you though. Now, I follow John Gruden on TikTok, and I follow John Gruden on Instagram, and I follow John Gruden on YouTube, and when you watch him on TikTok before the game, because what he do is he do like the majority of the games on Barstool Sports. He do most of the
Yeah,
games
they
before.
show. I saw some stuff on TikTok. I had never seen it before.
Say, man,
He
the
looking like
dude.
he. So what? You think you like John Gruden?
I just think that he fits the narrative for for Jerry and them, and I think um that he is smart when it comes to football.
He look
I
like he off
mean,
his rocker to me, but
he do, and
I would take John Gruden over Kellen.
yeah, I think he's something. I think something is going on up here, but
But do you think John Gruden is going to come back into the league and reinvent himself like Andy Reid, or is he going to be like McCarthy and be like, everybody was talking about Zim coming back in. Zim is not the
Mhm,
old Zim. Are you really going to get the old Gruden? Because
mhm.
and Gruden offensively, when he was coaching, his offense wasn't looking just all that great. You know.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I think when you come back, I think he gonna come back and be the best coach in the league. That's what I think.
Wow. Okay, man. Well,
I
I
mean,
would take him over Kellen, but
I think he gonna come back and be one of the best coaches in the league. He didn't set out and watched, and I've been watching him, and he's talking crazy. He gonna be all up in the players' faces. He gonna be like Dan Campbell with all his energy on the sideline. He gonna be acting like, uh, you know how they act, and you know how I don't want to,
yeah,
you
he's a
bring up.
West Coast offense guy.
But it's just that what we're seeing and what we're doing, like from it, like when I say what I've seen, I'm like, okay, him and when I watched him before the Tampa Bay game, the things that he said that we needed to do to beat them, and the things that he said that they needed to do to beat us, and everything he said was spot on, down to the T. And I mean,
And I'm gonna take you way back when I was talking about coaches that Jerry could have hired. He had a chance to hire John Gruden at one time, but he
I
didn't.
can believe it.
He Jerry missed out on so many good coaches
He-
because he hired Wade Phillips, so that's 3 years. Then he hired Jason Garrett. So just think about this: 13 years. Jerry Jones had Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett. Just think about how long 13 years is. And just think about how many coaches just came into the league, just came in and just taking the lead by storm. We're not even talking about defensive coordinators. During that same span, he hired Monty Kiffin, who was like the grandfather of the cover, the Tampa 2,
yeah, Tampa
a,
too.
a defense that was just outdated. Like people wasn't even running that defense anymore. Then he hired Monty Kiffin's protege, Rob Marinelli.
Rob Marinelli.
So not only did he get the head coach in hire wrong, he
got
got
the
the
defensive
defensive
coordinator
coordinator hire wrong because Rob Marinelli, I would die on this hill. Rob Marinelli lost that 2016 Green Bay game that we would have. Look, give me any other defensive coordinator in that game, we win that game. And then
Yeah,
he
that
came,
last play was
and then he followed that up by picking Taco and Tristan Hill.
Yep. He did, man. And he was all up in the war room. Like,
And during that time, the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, who right now he's always been one of the best in the game. Jerry had a couple of times he could have hired him.
he's the best in
Jerry.
the game.
So this hiring thing, man, with the Cowboys, with Jerry, and here we are right today on December 7th, whatever today is, 2024, 2025.
January 7th.
January 7th. These folks still don't know how to hire.
I mean, like all the content creators and all the ESPNs and talking heads, everybody is saying right now that the Cowboys are messing up the coaching search right now.
Oh, just of course.
Right now.
We it's just this it's just amazing that they haven't had somebody come in and tell them you're doing it wrong. The way you do free agency, the way you do your hiring, the way you this everything that you're doing is like,
It's wrong. It's backwards. It's
yeah.
outdated. And then
And,
you have what makes it even worse for me is you have multiple, like like 2/3 of the NFL that you can look at, and you can look at what they're doing that's working, and you're doing the complete opposite. You can look
well,
at
you
the
just showed it earlier. You put up all of the people that are being interviewed. You're looking at the number of interviews that are being done. There's a science to this,
it
but they
is,
don't.
man.
They don't have it.
The Bears are going to be end up better than us, but the Bears are going to get back to the playoffs and championship before we do.
And then one thing I want to say, this draft and develop thing, which is one of their monikers, you got draft and
Ugh,
develop, right kind of guy. Let's hang around the rim. We like our guys, but their number one thing is draft and develop. There are some organizations like the Bears. No, it was the Lions. They're proof that the draft and develop thing doesn't work because the Chicago Bears, they've been picking at the top of the draft forever. So if draft and develop worked, the Bears would actually have the best team in their division because they pick high every year. But you know why they're not doing anything? Because they don't know how to draft. They got terrible personnel people.
I'm
Their
about to say they
ownership,
passed on Deshaun Watson
yeah.
and drafted oh
So
boy.
the Jones family, the McCaskies run the Bears. This is a terrible organization.
Terrible.
Now the Detroit Lions, they were the
Ford,
same way. The Ford
but they
family,
changed. But they changed.
but they did what the Cowboys haven't done. They did they got on the
They
right
hired
track.
they hired that
The
GM, the black
GM,
guy.
the young GM, they hired the young GM.
Yeah.
They look like they done got the coaching thing right. They actually got all three. Just think about it. They got Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn. So
And
they got the
mhm.
coaching thing out of the park.
Then
J-
then the way that they started
they
drafting,
drafted, yeah.
they drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round. They
See,
drafted Jameer
yes.
Gibbs in the 1st round.
So
Oh
Jerry,
man,
tomorrow morning, Jerry should just hold a meeting and just say, we're gonna shut everything down. We're gonna just look at what the Detroit Lions have done the last 2 years. We're doing that. Then he
yeah,
could have another meeting. He could say, we're gonna look at the 49ers, what they've been doing, the Ravens, the Chiefs. That's what a good organization would do, but they're not doing that.
I
Right
don't want to
now,
hear. I don't want to hear
right
nothing
now,
about
they're
Jason
looking at
Witten either.
they're thinking about how can we get Kellen back in here.
Or how can we hire Jason Witten?
Oh my God. It's like this is why we don't have an NFC championship game in 29 years because we're talking about Kellen Moore, Jason Witten. You just had 10 years of Jason Garrett. Why in the world would you just the question you need to ask yourself is this, Cowboy fans. Would the Ravens, the Chiefs, the 49ers, and the Eagles, would they interview Jason Witten for a head coaching job?
Hell no.
Okay. Now, surprisingly, some of these teams is interviewing Kellen Moore, but hey, have
Well,
at
we
it.
we just don't like Kellen Moore, and we just here with Kellen Moore because we are we homers. Kellen Moore has been here, so we know all
Yeah,
about him.
yeah.
You know, the other teams,
They
they
don't
they
know. Yeah.
they they don't know. So you know what I mean. But like I said, man, it's a sad day in Cowboys history when you gotta look at when you gotta actually look at the flip side of the coin on Kellen Moore and say, man, I don't know. You gotta do the same thing with Mike McCarthy. We looking like, man, I don't know. We don't know. We don't want Mike McCarthy, but we might have to settle for that. You know.
I would be fine with McCarthy returning if he hires a new offensive coordinator, not Brian Schottenheimer.
Well, then that means that you're saying then I say the same thing, and what we are basically saying is that we are not okay with Mike McCarthy returning. Okay.
And then the realistic option too is what might be a deal breaker for them is that they say we're going to bring you back on a 2-year extension with a 3rd-year option. That
Mhm.
might be a compromise, but Don Yee may not go for that. Don Yee might just say, hey, we want 3 years with a 4th-year option. So we're gonna look. It's all finna come down, and we'll find out in the next few days. So tomorrow is some kind of deadline that they have. So we'll
Yeah.
find out more about
Tomorrow
what's
is the
happening on tomorrow.
deadline. tomorrow is the deadline to where they can to where they have to tell him if he can go.
Interview.
They have to let him. Yeah, They have to either they have to allow him to go interview tomorrow.
So we'll find out more tomorrow. So we almost been on an hour. You ready to go ahead and wrap? So we'll come back and because
Yeah,
we got the coaching thing, and we'll probably be doing a show like every day.
yeah, because there's gonna be some sparks flying. Because it's gonna be like I said, coaches is dropping like flies, and coaches gonna be getting hired too. And it's a lot of interviews going on, and the NFL is pretty transparent on who's interviewing for what and all of that. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned because it's about to get busy. Um, it's no other off season like a Cowboy off season. Cowboy season does not stop. It's finna be more topics to talk about now during the off season than it was during the season.
And
So
the
y'all make
draft.
sure got the draft coming up. It's gonna be an interesting draft because we pick high, and we gave up our fourth. We pick high, and it's so many ways that you can do right.
Yeah. If you can
It's hard
trade
to
down
mess
from
this up
12 to 16 or 12 to 17
and
and
pick up
pick
a
up a
fourth.
two,
Oh,
and a
shoot.
4.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's so many ways that you can do this right. So for them to mess this up would just be colossal. And so you all make sure you all stay tuned. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And so make
So
sure
we
you
are
all,
live on Facebook.
yeah, we
Oh,
are.
okay.
So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you all follow us on all of our other platforms. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, TikTok, um,
Tell them about our
YouTube.
Facebook page.
Yeah, so our Facebook page, we just gonna be posting a conglomerate of everything on there. Plus, I'm doing shorts, and my dad gonna be doing shorts, and then all of my production that I'm gonna be working on in the background, it's gonna be posted on the Facebook. So we trying to draw a lot of people to the Facebook. You know, at some point we're gonna have raffles that we do on Facebook, and a whole bunch of other things. So you make sure you all follow us on Facebook, and we just getting started, and we got a long way to go. So y'all make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can see when we go live. And shout out to all of the other content creators, Stargazer, uh, Big Time Show. Shout out
Yeah.
to Brian Broadus, all of the 1053 the fan crew, G Bag Nation. Shout out to everybody. Jeff Kavanaugh. Those are my guys I listen to every day. So, anybody you want to shout out?
I think you covered it. So yeah.
Foots,
Boss
Botch.
Cowboy,
Yeah.
Boss Cowboy, and shout out to
Skywalker Steel.
Landlord and HTM. Yeah, those are the guys that
Skywalker Steel just went solo too.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we appreciate you guys checking in with us, and we probably we'll probably be doing another one tomorrow. So just stay tuned.
all right, we'll see y'all next one. Peace.